Hi, we're Phil and Marianne and we live on board Narrowboat Our Time. We've given up our home and our mooring and we're now exploring the English Canal network. Come along with us.
Well, here we are again. Another little technical talk. If you're expecting a cruising video, this may not be for you. We've just come back from Electrica. I've also been looking on Facebook, following conversations with electric boats. A lot of people call them all electric boats. So I thought I'd just run through a couple of the bits and pieces that make an all-electric, hybrid, call it what you will. So this is my take on it. Hopefully I'll get most of it right. So I think we'll break it down into bits and pieces. So we'll start with the solar panels, go through propulsion, generation, we'll take a little run through the electric cupboard, and hopefully it'll give you a clear understanding of what people mean when they say hybrid or electric boat. Okay, right, number one. Start at the beginning. Solar panels. Most boats nowadays will have some form of solar panel on them. Obviously not all boats, because some are heritage boats, but most boats will have some forms of solar panel. Small, old. We have, on our boat, we have 6 solid panels. Now, again, the choice of panels, you can have the solid panels, you can have the flexible panels, you can have the ones that power a battery bank or a power pack. Some people choose to fix their panels down straight onto the roof so they don't move. As you can see with ours, we can actually pick them up and tilt them. We tilt them up to about 40 degrees. Now, so as you see, gives you room to hide things underneath. Now, choice of panels is entirely up to you. It's a lot of people will go with the flexible panels because they like the aesthetics of clean lines. They don't like to see solar panels on the roof. I personally prefer the solid panels because you can tilt them, which gives you a more direct input. You can hide things underneath. And they are more efficient. Yes, I know. We've got 2.7 kilowatt of solar on the roof here, and we regularly see 2.7 kilowatt going directly into the batteries. The flexible panels are not so efficient because of the makeup. Let me just plonk you down here. So the makeup of the panels will be different. As I say, these are solid panels. I believe they're 450 watts. If the sun was over there, you could simply tilt the panels, you lock them back into place, and you walk away. In fact, I'll lock them into place. So these particular brackets, again, so many different types of brackets. I've looked at a whole load. These are locked into place via a nut and a bolt. We fitted them with high security stainless steel fixings so that your average Joe couldn't come along with an Allen key and steal them. So you drop them up like that. They say there's room to hide things underneath, and if the sun starts off over in that direction and then sets in this direction, you simply pull them across. So that gives you a much better collection of the solar than a flat solid panel or a flat flexible panel. It's part of a makeup of the panel that the solid panels are inherently more efficient anyway. The flexible panels, they do look great, and I must admit most of the modern boats that we've looked at, the flexible panels, nice clean roof line, people can't see you've got flexible panels. You can load the roof up, you can get nearly 3 kilowatt on a 57-foot boat. I'm sure that will increase with time. Although many people do actually nowadays on their boats, they'll have big roof lights or hatches cut in, which obviously is going to affect the amount of solar you can put on there. With the flexible panels, the material that they're made of is less efficient, inherently less efficient, and also you imagine today the sun is directly above us, so we are getting a good yield. Everyone will get a good yield. If the sun is coming from over in that direction, your panels are stuck to the roof and they are curved, so that the panel on that side of the roof will be getting good solar because it is arced towards the sun. Panels on this side, the sun is coming down at such an angle that you're getting very little return on your panels. So even on that side of the roof you'd be getting good return, on this side of the roof you're getting poor return. With these, again, if they're flat, again, comes down, refracts and goes, but you will pick up more on a solid panel than a flexible panel. And of course, if you can tilt them, then you get again an extra 40% pick up on the solar. So what else? I know I'm biased because I've got solar panels, but the solar panels will keep, the solid solar panels will keep the heat off of your roof. The roof underneath that panel is cool. The roof out here where the sun's hitting it is hot. So that heat doesn't then get transmitted into the cabin where it becomes uncomfortable. The method of fixing panels has changed over the years. I mean, we're only talking, I mean, if we go back 5 or 6 years, that's ancient history when it comes to solar panels. So 5 or 6 years ago, people would have probably just put these on a fixed bracket, straight down to the roof, no movement, no storage underneath. With the flexible panels, they probably would have either screwed them to the roof or bonded them to the roof. And again, if the bonding wasn't done properly, you get water ingress under the roof, under the panels on the roof, and the rust sets in, or you get leaves under the panels, and again the rust sets in. Also to the point where with the flexible panels, when it comes time to change them, you have to either debond them, which means potentially you are going to be taking the paint off your roof, or if you're lucky and they're only screwed down, you then unscrew them, you clean your roof off, repaint, put your new panels on. With these, again, it is a case of there are 4 securing nuts, all stainless steel, high security, 4 securing nuts. You undo those, you take the panel off, you change it out, you swap it out. These are for 450s, I believe. You change these out in 3-5 years time, whatever it is. These might be producing 600, 700 watts, I don't know. I mean, there's bifacial panels now that pick up the sunlight going down through and coming back up. But if these 440 watt panels then become 600 watt panels, then potentially that's going to give us, just trying to think, 6, 12, 18, 3.6, roughly 3.6 kilowatt of solar on the roof, where at the moment we've got 2.7. If the panels move on quicker than we expect, then they might become 800 watt panels. So bear in mind that when you're planning your solar array, all the voltage from this will go into an MPPT, multi-point power tracker. When you are planning it, put in MPPT that is twice the size that you think you'll need, or 2. We fitted 2. So each one of our MPPTs will cope with the entire array. But in the future, when these panels are traded out for, let's say, if we go up to 600, 700, 800 watts, who knows, which would make us almost independent of generation, then we know that the panels will go, and the cost of the panels as well is coming down, but the panels will go on, they'll plug into the existing wiring, they'll go back to the existing panel. excuse me, joggers. They'll go back to the existing MPPTs and everything will still work. It'll still be well within tolerance. So, as I say, I've not got a downer on the flexible panels. It's just that they are less efficient and you're not able to tilt to get the best out of them. And also, we love the fact that you can store all sorts of things under the panels. It doesn't ruin the lines of the boat. So that's been it on solar panel. Okay, number 2, electric propulsion or hybrid propulsion. Pure electric propulsion is certainly doable in the summer, not so easy in the winter, which means you have very large battery bank. You either charge your batteries from solar or you charge them from marina, and you simply drive on electric, and providing the sun stays out, then you're great, you're mobile. That is what's meant by a pure electric. Of course, everything inside the boat is also electric, so all your cooking, if it's the winter, it's heating, which can all add up very quickly. Most electric boats are going to be hybrid boats. These will fall in 2 camps, either a parallel hybrid or a serial hybrid. It's all the same, basically the same components arranged in a different way. A serial hybrid will have a pure electric drive, we'll go into that more. A pure electric drive with a generator tucked away somewhere. Again, generators will go into a little bit more. Or you can have a parallel hybrid where you have a standard diesel engine and attached to it will be an electric drive that will take over when the batteries are full. So pop the engine cover. We have a parallel hybrid. I can see the benefits of having both. So we'll pop the engine cover, have a look. Okay, so this is a hybrid system. More to the point, this is our hybrid system. Ours is a parallel hybrid, which means that the engine is directly connected to the prop, as in the old-fashioned boats. It's also connected via a belt to a motor stroke generator. So it means that when we need to move, we can either run the diesel engine directly through the prop to propel the boat forward, or we can use the electric motor to run the prop to propel the boat forwards. What we can also do is we can isolate the prop shaft via a clutch. We can turn the diesel engine on, we can engage the hybrid system, and we can turn the motor into a generator, which means we are directly feeding the batteries. There is a couple of extra alternators on the front, so there's 2 alternators on the front. There's a small one down there as well to charge the engine battery, and this one here, and we can get a combined charge of about 7 kilowatt. I understand that you can actually, it's been detuned just to make it more reliable. I understand you can get this up to sort of 9 or 10 kilowatt if you want to push your luck. So apart from that, standard engine bay. Hoover is optional, but a standard engine bay, thankfully nice and dry. Apart from that, there's nothing special. The series, a series system, the motor, this motor will be dropped down close to the engine bearers. It will be directly connected to the prop. And then there will be a generator somewhere on the boat. Normally what they'll do is they'll put the generator in the engine bay. They'll potentially take the engine, turn it, cocoon it in a silenced case, and then the generator will charge the batteries. The batteries will then drive the motor. So that's the only difference. They still employ a diesel engine and an electric motor. We just employ it in a parallel. Other people employ it in a series combination. The only advantage really I can see of this system is if you're on fast flowing rivers and you don't have a powerful electric motor, then you can always rely on the diesel to push you along. Mind you, having said that, most modern systems now will come with a much more powerful motor. This one's only 10 kilowatt. Most of them seem to have a standard up to about 22 kilowatt, and of course if you're going into the bigger marine projects, then I think one of the stands we saw at Electrica was up to 100 kilowatts, so that negates the problem. You could obviously store your batteries down here, depending on what sort of battery bank you had, but that's another subject, so we'll get to that in a moment. Anyway, that's the motor system. time to carry on the boat electrics talk. So we started a little chat about the boat electrics a few months ago, early in the summer. So let's carry on. Let's get down into the heart of it, into the batteries. So off to the utility room. This is where we keep all the important stuff. So, no particular order. We have hot water heating, just timer, thermostats, the all-important servo system, and the internet, and a lovely calendar. So on this side, this is where we tend to do all our charging. We had a couple of extra sockets put in, so we got the charger there, all the charging leads, and it's a bit untidy, and the all-important rechargeable batteries for everything on board. And no boat's complete without a hat. I know it doesn't look like much, but most of it is hidden under that. So the first thing we need to do is get rid of that. Right, so once we pull the panel out, you can see all the fun and games that's underneath. It looks complicated, but it's not. You've got the buzz bar systems that fuse every single battery. You've got all the control fuses. You've got the main buzz bar for all the 48 volt equipment. So if you ever need to kill anything, you have a master switch. You can also kill, as you can see, everything's marked up. If you need to turn the inverter off, turn the hybrid system off, no problem at all. So if you turn that one off, that will kill everything on the boat. If you want to isolate individual bits and pieces, then you have various isolators, various control fuses. There is a little transformer here basically that converts from 48 volt batteries down to 12 volt, as you say, essential services, things like sump pump, navigation lights, but everything sort of tucked away nice and tidy. Normally day to day you don't need to get to that. If you do, there's a removable panel. I'll show you a picture of that later. Removable panel in the steps. You can just simply pull the panel, get to all the isolators, no problem at all. So what actually drives all of this? Well, we've got two sets of batteries, one on each side. As you see, they're vented. So this is what drives it all. We have 6 Pylon Tech 5 kilowatt batteries. So 3 either side. As you can see, very, very simple install. There is room if we wanted to put another set of batteries up here, but that we have 30 kilowatt in total, and that is plenty. Very, very easy to look after. They basically all look after themselves. They've got a battery management system built in. You have a little comms cable. They all link to each other, they all talk to each other, and that little comms cable will go back to the servo system. All nice and simple, all plug and play. So these things literally plug in. They all come back, they're all fused individually before they're sent off to the inverter. We've had absolutely no problems with these batteries. Every once in a while I'll take a cover off, have a look. But they look after themselves. They tell you if they're too hot, too cold, overcharged, undercharged. Everything comes up on the servo system. So these great big cables here are just the earth cables. But I say there is room to get another battery in if need be. But so far we've not needed it. It is a bit like the Starship Enterprise, but it all just works. So, as per usual in your narrowboats, you have your key cupboard and a little box down there that helps with the charging for the hybrid marine system. But that's it, that's all you got in that cupboard, and your coats. Across the other side I say the brains of the outfit is the servo system that ties it all together. This simply tells you all the bits and pieces that you need to know on whichever format you like to look at it. Okie dokie. Right, now first thing you'll see, these are all optional. This is all the power tool batteries. Everything we have on the boat, or most things we have on the boat, is battery powered. So we will have things like the battery drills, the hoover, everything, and all we do just keep a ready supply of charged batteries. I already had the batteries, so it was a shame not to use them. You can see the electrics covered. I'd like to say that Dave, the guy who wired this boat, did an absolutely superb job. These extra cables are ones that I've added. That's a feed to the TV, so that we can get the internet to feed to the TV. I really must tidy that up. But what we have here is you have all the 240 volt circuits. You can see everything like the oven, hob, washer and water heater are all separate. They're all protected by individual RCDs. Anything goes wrong, out they go. You have your shoreline on the end with an incomer and a little test button that tells you if it's green, you're good. Obviously at any point we can turn that off, but very, very simple. Fridge and freezer on a separate, so if you want to isolate them when you go away, 2 sets of sockets, and that's it. Very, very simple, very tidy. And down below you have the low voltage side of it. Again, everything is marked up, so everything could be isolated. We tend to turn the hybrid off when we're not using it because it consumes a little bit of power. Not very much, but some. So again, you've got everything. You've got, I don't need to tell you, you can see it, the comm system, toilet, auxiliary. Don't know what the auxiliary is because we tend not to use anything 12 volt on the boat. But again, everything is broken up into logical sections, so if we lose any particular one, we don't lose all the lights in the boat. That's 24 volt DC, mostly for the lighting. What can we see in the end there? Water pump. So again, when we go away, water pump, shower pumps go off. Everything else stays on. We have all the flash color changing lights throughout the boat, all controlled by these here. Again, we've got remote controls, and we simply press the button and they do what we want them to. Solar. So we have isolation for the solar system. Basically, we have 2 banks of solar, so we can isolate the solar very easily from there, or we can isolate the solar from there. So whichever, if for any reason we need to isolate, we could either turn those off, turn that one off, or both together. Now the system, we've gone slightly overboard with the system, because we have not one, but we have 2 MPPTs. Now this breaks the system in half, and also means that in the future, when we upgun it, when we get bigger panels, they will be able to cope without changing any of the infrastructure, any of the MPPTs, because they are big enough to accept panels. I think we can near enough double the size of panels that we have on the boat without changing any of the control wiring. Also, again, it looks complicated, but it's not. It's literally, you break it down bit by bit. On the boat, we have 2 24 volt circuits. Again, these are simply derived from the 48 volt batteries, and these are DC to DC converters. There's 2 48 down to 24. I say the 24 volt generally does the lighting, maybe the toilet as well, and the navigation lights. So we have another 48 down to 12 volt on this side, and I say the second one, the brother unit to that one, is tucked down under the stairs, and that is your 48 volt to 12 volt, but that is your essential services. That's the one that you want to work when everything else doesn't. That stops you from sinking. Excuse the reflection, we have a little hybridmarine controller which controls the main motor, and at the same point you have, yeah, I did tell you my additional wiring was untidy. You have the multi-plus, that's 5 kVA 4.2 kilowatt inverter. That means you can run any two big ticket items on the boat together. So whether it's hair dryers, oven, kettle, induction hob, you can run any two together with no problem at all. As soon as you add the third one, you're potentially going to be in trouble. I think that's the one part of 12 volt that we use internally, which is a 12 volt supply to the router, and the white cable underneath simply goes off the TV, gives us a better signal. So again, everything has isolation. All the terminals are shrouded, but everything has easy access. So some fuses under there, neutral buzz bar. Everything you can see is every connection is numbered into a little DIN rail connector, and we have a book, a massive A4 book of what everything does. So if anything goes wrong, it's very simple to just simply come in, have a look, see what the problem is and fix it. We have a galvanic isolator for when we're in a marina or on shoreline. There's a little servo control unit, and this is simply a box where the aerial connections come in. So as I say, it looks complicated, but it's not. Any of the untidy wires are what I've added. I really should tuck them into the trunking, but 30 kilowatt of batteries is more than enough to keep us going. We cruise all day, no problem at all. All right, we don't cruise many hours, but we can cruise all day. If we had to cruise 8 hours, we could cruise 8 hours. These batteries look after themselves completely. We've never had any trouble with any of this. And while we're down here, I will check access to the bilges. And if you can see it, completely dry, lovely. I'm quite surprised, no spiders. So that's pretty much it. I hope it all made sense. I know I'm an electrician, so it does make sense, but it's all very simple, and it all just simply works, which is what you want on an electric boat. So any questions, drop them in the comments. Bye for now.